never heard that, but you know that's the origin of Cap. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look.
There's a principle that
Right.
we have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to have.
You know, be true to yourself. You know, you don't have.
And when I came back, the place was a mess. So I knew I was missed.
Deep in here now. Now
It's
deep.
incredible. I love it.
Me
That's
too.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And applying the recovery, I thought.
Good.
These are good questions, though. Did you do these?
No.
All right.
Here's another
Hello. Get in the herd. Happy Recovery Month, everyone. It's Recovery Month. Woo! I am Honesty. Whoa. Don't hear that?
You're going to mess with
That
her.
was like Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes, it
I
was.
fixed that. Oh my gosh. Why is it doing that?
It's gone.
Okay, well, a good thing about recovery, you just roll with it. I am the CEO of the McShin Foundation and a woman in long-term recovery since May 27, 2007. And I love Recovery Month. So that is who I am. Host number 1, host number 2.
Whatever. Jesse Wasaki here, Chief Operating Officer. And I think I haven't formally introduced myself. So, Matt, I'm Jesse. And everybody else that came along, you brought the whole crew.
We brought the crew.
I'm Jesse. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here. What about you, Matt?
I'm Matt Keegan. I guess you would say I'm a musician, rapper, going all over the country. I help people find treatment resources. I member of my community, very active in a 12-step program, very active in a deliverance ministry we got growing up around us right now. I am not the person that I used to be. Let's just put it like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you. You traveled how many hours? 8?
We drove
12?
9 straight hours, got out the car in the parking lot from Ohio. I went up and got ready and came in, and we just literally sat down. I just literally got done.
That's
So that's
amazing.
where you're from, Ohio?
Yes, sir.
Ohio.
What part of Ohio?
Yep. Right between Cleveland and Toledo, northern. It's called Sandusky. I'm sure you guys know it. We got Cedar Point.
I've never heard of some.
I don't know nothing about Ohio.
All right. Well, we're in a different state, so I can't
Yeah.
I can't flex Sandusky.
It's yeah.
I can't flex
don't
Cedar
know.
Point.
I don't know.
I feel like I've
much.
heard of Cedar Point though. My dad used to live in Dayton. Is
That's
near-
way south.
way okay.
That's right next
All
to West Virginia.
Okay.
My husband's from West Virginia. I know
Ooh.
that one. Hey, we met in rehab. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
way. You
Yes,
met in
we-
rehab. Your husband and you met in rehab.
Yeah.
You're the one success
I
story
know,
I've
we're
ever seen in my life.
1%. Hey, we've been through a lot though.
Thank you,
A
Chuck.
Congratulations.
lot. But yeah, we've been together for almost 19 years now, I think. A long time. I
Oh,
know.
wow.
Yep, I met him in rehab. Well, not this place, not McShin. So we used together for like a year, and then I came to McShin. So,
Got it.
anywho, he
Got it.
rocks.
Who
So-
husband rocks?
Yeah, my husband rocks.
Show everybody the wave. Y'all got y'all's own little personal wave.
Ooh.
He even does that too.
Yes, he does. Yes, I love him. He's my best friend.
Matt.
All right, what else?
Well,
Give me
well,
that.
look,
Let me
look,
have
this
that.
is my thing because you stress me out sometimes.
Oh,
Matt,
so-
why don't you because I've listened to some of the music and it was good. Good
Yes,
stuff. I liked
it
it.
Yeah, I
rocks.
did too. I did
Yeah,
too. That's good stuff. Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like what kind of got you
Yeah.
into music?
So honestly, when it comes to hip hop, I was the guy that would take Adderall and freestyle in your face for like 3 hours.
Adderall.
You know what I mean? I was like the upper dude that would just, and like I didn't have really too much of like an interest in hip hop or rap. I was a death metal drummer, and I was heavily into metal. So we played a bunch of big shows like Cleveland, Toledo, Peabody's, House of Blues. Like we were playing a lot of pretty big shows back then.
That's
and,
pretty damn cool.
Lots of drugs involved, Back in those days, I couldn't even get on stage without like a Xanax or some type of opiate. If I didn't have that combination, I couldn't play, or I wouldn't play that well. I'd have like a panic attack, So it was insane. And I never had aspirations to rap until me and my girlfriend, we seen this song called Drug Addiction by Kalichi. You ever heard that song?
Yeah.
So it was in 2017. And my girlfriend and I heard it, and it just lit that spark in my stomach. And my girlfriend's like, hey, I think you could do something like that one day.
Aw.
Which was crazy because all I did was freestyle. I never could write a song. I could only
Mhm.
freestyle when I was high, So, a long story short, I ended up going to treatment in Florida. And I was still listening to Cleachy. It's like 2019. And I seen what he did, and I would watch him. I followed him on Facebook. So he's like headlining all these recovery events, and his song's awesome. He's inspiring people. And I'm like, every rehab I end up going to, like somebody's playing his music on the TV, on YouTube. And I'm like, man, I would love to be that. I would love to do that. You know what I mean? Like have music that has a purpose, because I can rap about drugs and stealing your girl and all that bull the shit that they have on TV today. I
Yeah,
apologize. That's the only way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to do something real, you know? So I sat down and I wrote a song. And now I'm the guy in Sober Living writing hip hop rap songs, you know? So I'm like, got the YouTube beat. I'm like, hey, come on, check this out. But when I would show people, I would get a real reaction.
You were living in Sober Living at the time?
Yep, down in Florida in Sober Living.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when my life kind of crashed. Yeah, definitely getting ahead on the story. But that's when I decided to digest a 12-step program, you know, because I tried to do it my way and I was so against it. And I thought it was a cult and I hated everybody involved in it. It felt fake and not genuine. And so I decided I had no other way to go. I had to try something different, you know, and I just wanted what they had. You know, I knew a bunch of dope fiends that had been in there and they had peace. And I was like, man, I want that peace. So that's when I tried that. And I went through the steps and I had a really, really good time, you know. But in that process down there, you know, I'm showing my sponsor my raps and in 2019, he's blown away now, man. You know what I mean? Because I was just another sponsee showing up in his car.
Step work and here, check this out.
100%.
Step work, rapping your step work.
We're doing like a 6-step, you know, character
step.
defects. And I'm like, all right, character defects are done. I got this in my pocket. Put this beat on your car. Let's play it, you know. They weren't the best, but they got a reaction. And people like really was feeling what I was writing. I ended up submitting this song to America's Got Talent, and they reached back out to me and invited me to their like Miami place. They gave me a front of the line pass to skip everybody and come up front. I was feeling like a baller. I walked past that big line, you know, skip right to the front. And I was like, oh, this is my moment, you know. I remember I'd shared some songs on like Facebook. I didn't have any type of platform or nothing, but I had a vision for it one day. I had no idea what it was going to look like, but I knew that it was there if I worked for it. And I ended up going up there to try out for these guys. I had like one video that had 6,000 views. So I thought I was it, you know. I'm like 6,000 views on YouTube, me rapping in the van. I'm viral, you know. A lot of ego back then. I had to really get humbled. Go out and try for America's Got Talent. I get to the first round of judges. I make all the moms cry in the room and get a huge reaction. And I'm the only one that's called back to follow up for the next thing. So I'm just like sitting. So I get in this big room and there's this British guy and they got all these cameras on me. Knock the song out, get a good reaction from them. They asked me to share a fun fact about myself. Now, my mom was in prison because she had got caught cooking meth. She tried to fight the case. The lawyer said, we can win, we can win. So she went from getting a 2 and then she got dropped to a 6. So she did a 6-piece in Marysville in Ohio, and then she got switched to another place. The other place, they listened to my songs. It was like a women's pre-release center, so it was a little more relaxed. The guards would listen to my songs, and they ended up inviting me to come to her prison to perform at her prison.
They let you perform.
Wow.
It.
They let me go into a women's prison and rap
Cash.
like a song to my mother.
Damn, I know.
I do that at jails.
But
I
was
do
it
that at
Folsom
jails
prison?
now. No, it wasn't Folsom. just a little Ohio boy, you know.
Yeah.
300 women, you know.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
It's
though.
crazy.
America's Got Talent. Who's the ones that do that? The judges? Is that?
It was them. They were in that
Simon
building.
Cowell?
It wasn't
No, that's
Simon that year.
American Idol.
Right. It was. I
What
can't
is it?
remember. It was those 3. It was 3 big ones.
And you went in front of the
No,
big
I didn't
one.
make
Oh,
it to
you didn't
them.
make it to
There
the-
was 3.
okay.
Made it for the
Oh,
first
you have
round.
to do like 3 different ones.
Second round came up, but they
Damn.
asked me to share a fun fact. Remember? So
Yeah.
fun fact. So the fun fact was,
My mom's in jail.
I
Prison.
said, I just got out of prison and I went to my mother's prison to perform the song that I wrote to her. And
That's a cool fact.
that's what I thought,
mean,
right?
What
That's
I was gonna say?
thought.
What they say?
They said, well, what were you in prison for? And I was like, major drug trafficking. And that was,
And they were like, oh.
well,
see you
they
later.
said, all right, well, you're good. We're going to call you. Just wait for a call. And they kind of sent me on my way. So that call that I thought I was in. So I start practicing like crazy because like when you start rapping, you know, my voice, I didn't know how to breathe. I didn't know how to like deliver. I didn't know how to like put certain tonations in. Like, you know, there's so much that goes into it. And the more I did it, the more I would just get in tune with like what I was doing and just get locked in, you know? So I did that. I would sit in my car and rap for 2 hours sober, going to meetings, you know what I mean? Just like, that's all I seen. And I never got a call back from him. And then COVID happened. And then I kind of got a little wrecked. I ended up relapsing, thinking all my dreams are shot. It's never going to happen. And still kept like writing songs. And I ended up putting out a song about my relapse. And it went pretty viral. Got like 10,000 views on Facebook, you know. And again, I didn't have a platform. It was just like a regular Facebook page. And took myself to a rehab again. And this time I was just so beaten up because like every time I go out and I convince myself that I can use drugs, like let's say I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I'm not going to do opiates and benzos no more. I'm just going to drink. I'm just going to be a guy that has some wine with a steak. You know, I'm going to be that guy. So I do that. The most dangerous thing for me is I get away with it. And then once I tell myself, oh, snap, now I can drink wine on the weekends. All right, cool. So now I'm doing that. And then I tell myself, well, could take edibles. It's just edibles. They're not illegal. They help me sleep. You know, there's medicinal. It's from anxiety.
You tried the edibles?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. All the everything. I've tried everything.
Like sometimes I get a little mad at the stuff that's came out.
I
Since
know,
I've been
damn.
clean,
You ain't messing. You ain't messing.
No
Because
edibles.
you know what it
when I
is?
was
It's
using.
just convenient illusionary pain.
Yeah, I get it. You're right. I mean, I get a little mad, but then I quickly remember what it'll do to me, and
Gosh,
where it'll
I
take me.
know.
I'm like,
Right.
oh,
yeah.
I went and found out for you.
Yeah.
I went and
Yeah,
found out
thank
for
you.
you.
You put the white coat on and
Yep.
tried your hand.
Yep, absolutely. I went and checked it out, and it was no good. But I did the microdose and the mushrooms. You know what I mean, for
Mhm.
creativity and.
What about kratom? You ever done
Oh
that?
my God, have I done kratom? I call it kratom, and it is.
Oh, well,
it-
I don't even know.
it's
So many names
legitimately
are-
my Achilles heel.
Oh,
That's what
really?
that was my biggest relapse because
Wow.
I won't do fentanyl. I'm an old school cat. I did
Mhm.
pills in 06, 07, 08. I guess you could call me old school. You're probably old school,
Mhm.
but before all these,
Hold on.
you said you
We
were
gotta
sober.
stop.
You
We
said
gotta
you were
stop
sober
there
for
for a
20
second.
years. You said
No, I did not
No,
say
no, no,
20.
no.
No,
Oh, you
no,
didn't
no,
say
no.
20?
That's her.
17.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm-
Yeah.
I'm
old
12.
I'm a little delusioned from the road. You'll
No,
have to
I-
forgive me.
No,
I said
I did
old
heroin.
school. I
They
mean,
didn't have fentanyl that I know when I was shooting heroin.
They didn't
No,
have
yeah.
fentanyl either. It was
Ever.
straight heroin.
Yeah.
I could get on the poison control center line with a phone, and I'd be sitting with a dude in Toledo with a bag of pills, and I'd be just pull the pill out, type in the pill numbers. Poison control says oxycodone 510/325. Boom! I'm giving them all my money buying the pills.
Damn.
There was never such thing as like the
Yeah,
fake phony
yeah,
pills
yeah.
they have now, you know.
Yeah.
So I never got into fentanyl because I went to prison in 2015, right before it
Mhm.
became a thing. I didn't get back home until like 2017. When I got back home, people are dying like crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So kratom was like my escape to that, and
Okay.
and then of course the way they market it is they say there are no withdrawals. They're only as bad as a cup of coffee.
Mhm.
That's how they market it.
Right.
And
right.
at first,
I really want to hear what.
Yeah,
you
me
got to
too.
tell me.
yeah, we're gonna go in depth
please.
on this one because a lot of people need to know about this because, you know, there's a lot of misinformation behind it. So and now they're marketing it like when you're scrolling on Facebook, they got ads for it. They got a dude working out, pulling big weights, and they're like, it's like, are you looking for a new pre-workout that decreases energy? Increases
Really? I
depth?
haven't seen
Wow.
a
Now
pre-workout.
I've
it's-
heard of people doing that.
It is
Yeah,
now a
yeah.
pre-workout for people lifting. Yeah. Oh,
Damn.
and it says nothing about the mitragynine in it. The mitragynine, these little shots are crazy. They're literally like equivalent to like a clean perk 30. But the thing is though, they make you nauseous 90% of the time. They get you like this high. You're not going to catch a nod from it unless like you're already tired of going to bed. But like it gives you just like a little bit, maybe 15% of that opiate buzz. But here's the problem: all the addiction. So I start taking this stuff. I start buying kilos of it from some like doctor from Indonesia.
Kilos.
Jeez.
Doctor that you buy because
Kilos.
it's
Isn't it like
powder. It's a
22.6
tea. Yes.
pounds.
Yes.
Good
Kilos too. 2.2.
2 point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm buying kilos of this stuff, you
Mhm.
know, and I getting 10-pound boxes shipped to my house is, you know, big. And so I start taking this powder and I was taking a spoonful of the powder at a time, you know. And I'm like, oh, it's medicinal, and I'm trying to share it with the world. I'm like, everybody's got to get a piece of this. It's going to get you off opiates. It's going to change your life. Thing is, I start taking it for 2 times a day, 4 times a day, 6 times. That's my mind. That's my disease. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like I have the disease of more, and it is endless. So
Mhm.
before I know it, I start getting physically sick within 3 to 4 hours. Straight dope fiend withdrawal. I'm talking body chills, bubble guts. You know what I mean? Runny nose. Like it starts to
Ugh.
set on.
No
And if
thanks.
No
you
thanks.
miss that
That's
dose,
not
like I've been at
right.
work where I forgot my kratom, and within that 8 hours, I was full on dope sick, like I used to get from pills.
Yeah.
Man, I got a friend that is trying this shit right now, man.
If he's been addicted to opiates before, and his brain has the neural pathway to withdrawal, homie's gonna be sick, and it's gonna wreck him. No
Ugh,
question.
I've
Yeah.
seen people sick as from
Mm.
that. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing though. Am I saying that it doesn't have any use? Absolutely not. Because again, just because people like me can't use it, there's
Mhm.
here's the thing though. If there's some normal person who's never been addicted to opiates, like Donna over there, if Donna takes it, have you been? I thought you were alcoholic. Did you do opiates? Right. So Donna could most likely take it.
Alcohol. Yeah, that's the worst drug there is. Just
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Definitely
I watch that. I see people every day wrecked from that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Excuse Red Bull burp. They pay me every time I burp.
You had to drink a couple of them on that 9-hour drive.
Oh my goodness, yeah. But actually, it was pretty smooth.
You ever heard of the caffeine gum? That's what I got right now. Some caffeine gum. You ever tried the caffeine gum?
I have caffeine melts.
It's worse than kratom.
Melts.
I don't know if it's worse than kratom.
I got straight up melts. You just put one in the pouch of your mouth. It's like 100, 150, 200.
200. Oh,
you can buy. Yep.
You
It's
know what? I
nice.
take vitamins.
You drink some coffee. Same thing, all right?
And
Coffee.
1 cup a day.
That's
Yes.
200 milligrams.
Yeah, no, I go hard with
Y'all
the
giving me
caffeine. I go
anxiety.
hard with the caffeine. I'm busy. I'm all over the place all the time. I was just in Kentucky last week, in Ohio,
With
that
Andrew,
New Orleans
right?
next weekend, Texas.
So are those all performances?
Absolutely
Hell yeah, that's good stuff,
fire,
man.
dude.
Nice,
I'm so
nice.
you had like
So-
from the little boy that was writing these raps in the Sober Livings to like right here, man.
Mhm.
I mean, this is all God. I give this to God. You know, he opened. I stepped in the doors. I put in the work, but like he opened the doors for me, and I'm like, I'm just blown. I'm blown away. This is even happening. You know what I mean? Like I was sitting in prison behind a wall looking at 2 to 20, and I didn't know if I was ever going to get out. You know what I mean? Because they didn't give me a thing for boot camp to come. You know, and I
Yeah.
sat there full of that pit that drops in your stomach because all your homies are gone. Once you get locked up in the joint, everybody's gone. It's just you. You know, I was in Michigan. I weighed 115 pounds. I weighed 115. Imagine me at 115. I weighed that my whole life until I was
Mm.
25.
Pretty small.
Tiny. I got picked on and messed with a lot, bro.
How old were you when you first caught your bid?
25.
25. And so tell us about that. What happened?
So I used to do music festivals a lot. I used to come here to a place called Big Dub. You guys know that festival, a music festival? Anybody know it? So EDM,
What year?
Electric
My festival
Forest,
days.
you know what I
Are
mean?
those all that like rave stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't do
no,
rave.
so
I
I
did when
got-
I was a teenager, but that
Really?
was a long time ago.
Oh, they're
yeah.
crazy now.
Yeah.
So basically what happens is these places get these permits to where cops can't come in.
What?
They got feds in there. You got to look out. But basically, you can just walk
Undercover.
around. Yes. But
Yeah.
basically, if you can feel out your people, you can just walk around with a backpack full of everything and just sell out.
Just
I
make
mean,
money.
and that's what I was. So I got plugged in with this cat that was like on some heavy stuff. Like I had moved weight before, but I wasn't no like big plug. I was a decent size. You know what I mean? But I
Mhm.
wasn't. But this dude's getting half kilos of ketamine, you know, kilos of cocaine, pages of acid. You know, you've ever heard of
Mhm.
sheets?
Oh yeah.
There's pages.
I did a lot of
He's getting a
those.
whole folder of like 10 pages. You know what I mean? Like you can see where the paper at the bottom was stained. You know, it was crazy. I've never seen anything like that. And I'm pretty sure he was a fed. Long story into that, but we ran around and did that for a while, and I kind of used ketamine to get off of heroin and methadone I was on at the time. And if you guys remember now, if you guys look around, there's now ketamine clinics.
Ketamine
now.
Mhm.
clinics. I got a friend that has one in Florida.
You know what was
Yeah.
crazy is when I did the ketamine, I remember I started doing it, and I remember kind of waking up out of this fog, like, why am I doing heroin? You know,
Mhm.
I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And then I stopped, and then I just started doing ketamine, and then all of a sudden I'm doing like a half gram of ketamine, a gram of ketamine a day,
Wow.
which will destroy your bladder. It will destroy your urethra. And I actually had a problem. I couldn't pee right, and I would like almost pee myself all the time because I
Oh,
did so
wow.
much. So I'm like blasted. I got a L pierced in with piercings right here. My lips pierced. I'm like 115 pounds running around, and
Well, the piercing's healed up pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Cut
can't
me
even
out.
tell.
Right.
A
Thank
little
God.
bit a little bit on that side.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I almost got a face tattoo. I'm
covered up.
so glad I did, dude. Whew.
We've
Uh,
seen that.
Oh yeah. Me
Yeah,
too.
we got
Me
it.
too.
Yeah.
Listen, they
We
they
got
dig in.
We got a YouTube rapper here now that's
Yes,
got
we
face
do.
tattoos.
Really?
It's not famous though. I'm just.
Oh, I was gonna say I got to meet him. Let's link
Well,
up.
you do know me. He's a cool guy. He's a
He's
cool
very
guy.
cool.
He
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
He just hasn't taken off.
He's trying. Though.
Yeah,
He's
he definitely is.
trying.
He's
Tell him come
trying.
see me. I'll give him some game.
He'll probably be here tomorrow.
I'll tell him how to do it.
Yeah.
There's a formula.
He's definitely gonna. I know he's gonna be here. Probably
Yeah,
come
he'll
up to
be
you.
here tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a very simple
You'll
formula.
know who he is when he's got Batman tattooed on his forehead.
Let's go.
So
So
you'll see him.
he went the other route. He got the face tattoo.
Yeah.
You did. Well,
But
tell-
he's trying.
I
He's
can't
trying
believe
to
He's
get
doing good.
followers
He's
and
doing
stuff.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
doing real good.
yeah, no, can't hate. You know, I did the same thing.
You got to start somewhere.
absolutely. You know, and let me see him tomorrow. I'll talk to him
Okay.
or today. So
At the festival.
yeah, running around like crazy. We get this link to come up to this dude in Michigan, and it was real weird because he wanted to pay like $12.50 a zip for like 8 of them, you know, and that's for if you're gonna get 8 ounces of blow
Yeah.
cocaine. It's to pay $12.50 all the way up is kind of unheard of. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's chopping somebody. But like he offered us, so my dude's like jumping on it. He's like, yeah, we'll take that, we'll flip that. We're gonna go grab this. We're gonna go back here. We're gonna go to this festival. I already got his tickets. Da, 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 da. You know, he was a fast mover. So I'm kind of just along for the ride at this point. and we go up to Michigan. Never been to Michigan in my life, you know. And I'm at my lowest, like 115 pounds, 2 bottles of Xanax in my pocket. I'd been on benzos for 10 straight years. I had nasty anxiety. I'd never missed a bet. Like if I had panic attacks, snorting a Xanax. If I'm uncomfortable, I'm eating a Xanax and snorting a Xanax. You know, I would take acid to freak out, snort Xanax. Get too high off coke, snort Xanax. I did that for 10 years. So the fact that I'm alive is, it's to me, that's proof that God exists, because I absolutely should be dead. And there was grace applied on my life, and I'm grateful for that. We get there to this Rite Aid. We had a magnet box we hid inside of the car, in the engine compartment. And we get in there, we stop, we get it out. He gets the bag out, and then like we drove all the way up there, but we didn't bring no road blow, you know. So we was tired from the ride. You know, no road blow. So we cut into the bag of the 8 ounces, the quarter pound, and we pull a little bit out and toot a little bit while we're waiting. And we're like, he ain't even gonna miss it, you know, whatever. But instead of a dude pulling up, whole SWAT team pulls up.
Oh boy.
With, I'm talking like big like masks on their face, like them scary masks where like there's like like there's just no face, there's nothing, you just see slits of eyes, you know. And like there's a gigantic gun, I would say like an AR. I don't know guns, but it was a big boy. And I just remember freezing up. I had my phone in my pocket, and I had 2 lines of Xanax cut out on my phone as we were waiting, because the coke got me too high. And the guy rips me out the car, and then boom, I'm on the ground. And it's real. There's cop cars everywhere. And I remember the way of the pit, my stomach dropped. I'm like, that's it. There was 8 ounces of coke sitting at my feet in Michigan. I'm gone for life. I'm gone. So I was real messed up on the way up there. You know what I mean? So it's all a little bit of a blur. But I remember a guy took me in the office and sat me down, and he said, listen, I'm trying to help you. You need to talk. You need to tell me what happened. And I said, I'm not talking to nobody. Get me a lawyer. Absolutely not. Because I've seen them first 48 shows where the guy talks, right, and they still give him mirrors, you know? So I was like, nope, I'll get a lawyer. I'm not saying a word. So did the other guy. He said the same thing. Magic, his name was. Sorry, bro. That ain't your name. That ain't your name no more if you see this. So
how'd they know? What were the cops doing there?
The guy set him up. The guy got busted by the cops at another festival in Michigan. His name was Turtle. And Turtle said to the police, if you let me off of this, I'll bring you a heavy hitter. And I'll give you something big.
So he gave him
Turtle from Entourage.
No, I don't know. I don't know. Not the cool one.
From Entourage.
Not the cool one.
I love Turtle.
Not the cool
we don't love Turtle around these parts. He saved his own neck though. I'll give him that. You know, he's probably looking at something crazy. It's whatever. So then we get shipped off into jail. And now I've been on benzos for 10 years at this point. I'd never missed a thing. I remember.
You got kicked in the benzos.
Yeah, thankfully, I had just stopped taking methadone before that, like a week, and I just had gotten through the withdrawal, so I didn't have to kick that. So I'm in that like square cell where there's just a toilet right there, and I mean, there's like 15 dudes in this thing, and I'm in there for 3 days, and it's cold because it was like turning winter. So like I'm laying on the floor. I have a toilet roll that I lay my head on. And there's no blanket or nothing. Like you just have like a little toilet roll. And then I think I got a blanket. I can't remember. And I just slept in there, you know. And they would come to the bars, the cops, and they would like give me meds because like they didn't want me to withdraw from the Xanax. And I remember calling my dad. I'm like, Dad, I messed up, you know. And my mom and dad both struggle with their own addictions, you know. And he's like, hey man, best of luck, you know, love you. And
they gave you meds for detox though?
Oh yeah. Well, I was on Xanax, so you can seize out and die.
Yeah.
You know? All they gave me was Depakote. They didn't like step me down with Valium or give me anything. They gave me Depakote, which is an anti-seizure medication.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
so
shit, when I was doing time, they didn't give it for Xan. They didn't give it for that stuff. They
really
didn't care. No,
really.
They just
most places have to.
Sick. I think it's a new thing because a lot of
yeah, they will.
Yeah, back then.
Glad it wasn't back in your day.
Timer.
Glad it wasn't back in your day because I was on.
Back in your day.
Back in your day.
I think all three of us are the same age. I just want y'all to know that.
I'm almost 35.
I'm 43. No, you're younger
35?
than us.
I'm almost 35. Yeah.
Well,
34.
You look young.
You are a little young whippersnapper.
You're 50.
I am. I'm whipping and snapping around over here.
I'm 45.
Okay.
45.
Okay. Neither of you look like you're in your 40s. I thought you was 38. I thought you was like around my age for sure.
No.
But older than me.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? They say like for real that like dope or drugs preserve you because I see that all the time. Like addicts come out of like active addiction and I'll see people. I'll be like, how old are you?
Well, you know what preserved me was prison. Getting locked up doing some time.
Yes. How long you do?
Off and on. My longest bit was 3, and then came home, did another 3, and then 2, and then 1. So I did mine on like the installment plan.
Yeah,
I would get out, start getting high, go get locked up, get clean, stay clean, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
clean, locked up.
Right. Was you that dude that was like, I got another bit in me? I got another one in me.
Well, I would swear up and down, oh, I'm gonna do it right this time. I just won't shoot no dope. That was my thing. I'm just not gonna shoot no dope. But I'm gonna drink, and I get out and I drink, and then next thing you know, I'm violating, shooting dope, and lock back up,
Right.
catching a little bit.
Absolutely.
But I was the little installment plan, which I feel like, man, sometimes that's the dumbest way. It's like, man, you just can't, you got people that, do 6, 7, 10, 15, which it sucks, definitely sucks, but it's like they do it and then they're done, right? And then you got fools like me, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, and just keep doing it for 15, 20 years.
Wow. Yeah.
So how much time did you catch on that?
2 to 20 was my time. But
and so then you got out on 2, like good
nope,
behavior.
I'd never been in trouble before. And it was my first felony, and my minimum was 2, and I had a judge that agreed on boot camp.
What is that?
They have a prison boot camp program,
Yeah,
which is
I
a
went to boot camp
90-day
too.
SAI program.
Oh,
SAI.
no, mine was a year.
Yeah.
Boot camp. I was thinking about working out.
90 day. Oh yeah, it taught me how to work out. I didn't
Did you
work
march?
out.
Were you march? Did you do the march?
We marched every
yeah.
morning. We did marches every morning. We did PT. They'd make us go run. They'd do push-ups.
So
did
you
spider
did that,
push-ups.
and
I
then
love
you got
that.
out.
Yeah,
We
but
need to
it,
do
but
that
it,
here.
it didn't go that smoothly. They basically
I
said
love that.
it was 90-day parole too. You got 90-day parole once boot camp came and got you, but you still had to go to prison and get your prison number and wait for boot camp to come to the prison and get you. And you can't just give them a ring and say, "Hey, did you get my information when you coming
It's
through?"
like whenever they decide to come,
You got to
get
sit there and hope to God they don't make you do your 2. You know what I mean? Because all these people, you're in the joint. Everybody, oh man, they made me. The last time I had to do my whole minimum before they came and got me. The other one's like, oh, I was only here for a month. They came and got me. So it's just all this different information.
Mm.
So when I first get into prison, I go to this place called Jackson. It's a prison city. It's
So
got
was it like the receiving unit or something?
Yep. It's called quarantine. They call it quarantine up there. Think Shawshank Redemption. 4 stories, all rows of old jail cells. Yep. They got to break the thing for all of them to open. You know what I mean? And if you ain't there to catch it to open it, you ain't getting out unless they break the whole block again. So I go in there 115 pound, never been to Michigan in my life. I'm not in any sort of gang. I'm not clicked up with anybody. I'm in there by myself.
Michigan's gang, there's all kinds of
100%, 100%. So it was nuts, dude. Again, God was with me through this whole thing because a lot of bad stuff could have happened, but somehow it didn't. I got super lucky. Some bad stuff happened. I definitely, we'll get into that. So in quarantine, waiting for my papers to find out which joint I'm going to. Everybody's like, oh yeah, this one's the best. If you go to this one, they let you do this, this, and this. And they're like, oh, but you don't want to go to this one. This is the worst. It's because this and this. But there was one everybody talked about. It was called Robert Cotton. It's back in 2016. Don't tell me it's a cupcake camp now. In 2016, it wasn't. So I guess they stabbed a bunch of guards and they were like protesting these like phones and they were stabbing inmates and it had the worst reputation out of all of them. Right. And everybody's talking, you don't want to go to Robert Cotton. It's bad. And they're telling me, they're like, bro, if you go there, you're effed, I get the paperwork.
Oh my God.
Yeah, how old were you? How old were you?
25 years
25.
old.
I'd never been to jail. I don't have any charges on my record at all.
115 pounds.
115 pounds. I'm up to
old.
like 135 at this point because I was in jail eating the food. I started putting on a bunch of weight. So I'm up to 135, but I'm still scrawny. My arms ain't got nothing to them, Never done a push-up, pull-up, bench in my life. Robert Cotton is where I end up going, And I remember riding out that day in that van, dude, and like people were looking at me like I'm a dead man. When they walked me in there and they seen my new number, the guards marched me into like this like compound full of like pole barns. And the guards are like, turned back to me and they're like, welcome to the wild, wild west. And they said, you with the new number. Good luck. And as we're going in, there's 2 guards like dragging somebody out, whole cut across his face, blood pouring down. And I'm like, I have no relationship with God at this point. I'm honestly shitting my pants at this point. And I'm not even going to act like I was tough. And I was so terrified. And mind you, I'm going through benzo withdrawal during this.
So you didn't stay in the jail
You
long
really
at
are
all?
I was in the
Exactly.
jail for 76 days.
Man, see, they do stuff different here in Virginia.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might stay in the jail a year, 2 years.
Oh yeah. I had a corrupt defender who talked me out of because my dad said, don't waive your right to a speedy trial. Do not waive that right. My public defender asked that. And I said, he goes, all right, we're going to waive your right. I said, no, we're not. I'm not waiving my right. He said, okay. And then we get up in the court and he's casually talking. He's like, my client's going to do this and that. And we're going to waive the right to a speedy trial. I'm withdrawn from Xanax. I'm terrified. I'm freaking out. I'm like, no, we're not.
Oh my God.
No, we're not. And he turns around and walks up to me, and he has a schedule, and he's like, just wave it and I'll get you in on this day. And it was like 4 days later, as it was like a Monday, he's gonna get me on Friday. He's like, here's my schedule, please just wave it right now and I'll get you in. I'm like, okay, cool, all right, whatever, I'll wave it. And all the people were looking at me like the officials. They're like, oh, you shouldn't have buckled. They take us back. I find out he's not going to meet with us till like 2 months later, 60 days later. So he ended up coming 45 days later after that. Met with him. They wanted to give us 2 to 20, delivery manufacturing, 250 to 450 grams of cocaine. Both of us were going to get a charge equally. He was telling them I had nothing to do with it because he was trying to get me out because we had a big operation. He wanted to get me back on the streets. He was going to sit his time, and he was going to organize for me to run everything. They wouldn't let me out. And my judge even asked me to fight the case, but I just had this feeling in the pit of my stomach. I'm like, well, what if they go through my phone? If they pick up my phone, they're going to see that I sell drugs. They're literally going to see endless text. You know what I'm saying? So if I say I had no idea what was going on, you know what I mean, and I lose, I'm looking at way more, And even the judge was like trying to push me to fight it. So I didn't. So I ended up going into prison. And I just took the charge. I took 220 because she agreed to boot camp. So I figured, do a year and then get out on the 90-day parole. And that's kind of what it looked like. I ended up sitting there for like a little over a year. And then the 90-day came. I would say about a year.
And so the 90 days, so you were sentenced to boot camp?
No, I was sentenced to prison with boot camp to come get you after you sat in prison until they decided it was time to come get you.
No time frame in the prison, or it was
no time frame. It was 2 to 20.
2 to 20. So you just sit there until they come get you.
Yes.
And then you got to do the 90 days in the boot camp.
Yep. And then they parole you home.
Okay.
First thing that happens when I walk up in there, I make up my rack, and like I'm in the rack with some sketchy dudes.
At Cotton.
Robert Cotton.
Yeah.
Yep. Dude comes up to me and he goes, hey, this is your first time in? And bro, I'm terrified. I'm just sitting in my reading books. I got a John Grisham.
You're reading the handbook, handbook.
I found a John Grisham book, about 350 pages, bro. And I'm just sticking to that, like reading about lawyer stuff, like I know all about, you know what I mean? And that handbook, I didn't want to leave that rack. Comes up to my rack and he's like, man, come on here, come talk to me, man. And he's like 6'2". He's got gutter tattooed down the side of his face. And he says, he's like, hey man, I just want to let you know you're new here. I'm gonna kind of let you know how things work. He's like, you're gonna pay me $50 a week, or me and my dudes are gonna stab you. Now, when I was in the quarantine, some dudes took me aside. They said, hey, this is gonna happen. They're gonna try and press you. When you do, fight. I'm not a fighter at this time. You know what I'm saying? And these guys are big. These are big boys from the streets of Detroit. I don't want no piece of that, So I say, I wish I could tell you guys I was all tough, but I was like,
I'm gonna pay you $50.
Let me go make a call. So I go make a call, right? I got all my homies. I got everybody riding with me, all my people who I helped. I put some people on. I helped pay their bills. Man, they're all my friends. I got them. They're going to answer the call. Nobody answers the call. And then I find out they all went to my house with a crowbar, broke in, stole everything, all my clothes, my TVs, all the artwork I'd bought. They took like $3,500 of my work, got rid of all of it.
So Matt, when Gutter walks in there and says, look, you're gonna pay me $50, I'm gonna stab you, your response was, all right, I'm
gonna make a call. So then I gotta come back to him and say, there ain't nobody there. There ain't nobody to get the money. I can't help. And he's like, well, I can't help you. Now, remember when I said I was a death metal drummer? So I'm in like the day room, and I'm, I do this a lot. I do this stuff. People think I'm all crazy. I'm doing cool drum licks in my head. This dude walks up to me and he's like, hey, do you play drums? I was like, yeah, I absolutely play drums. And he's like, you want to come try out for this band? I'm like, well, what kind of music is it? He's like, we're death metal. And I was like,
oh wow, that is God.
I was like, put me in that room. And he's like, I just want to let you know, if you come in there and waste our time, you're not walking out that room.
That's death metal right there.
Yeah. So, dude,
death metal goes your
crazy
head.
white supremacists. These are crazy white supremacists, and don't get pissed at me.
That's big.
These are the
that's
rules.
Big in Michigan, though.
Huge.
They
were called
system.
Odinists. They believed in like Odin. They had Thor's hammer tattooed on them. It was, whatever.
Oh, I love Thor.
Yeah, they were all about it. All about the white Aryan race and stuff. And that's just how it is. I don't make the rules in prison. They wanted to try me out. I was terrified. I wasn't around my people. They was like, come through. And I asked, you got a double bass pedal on the drum set? And he said, absolutely. And I said, I'll be the best drummer you ever meet. And I knew it. Trust me when I say that. I'm telling you guys,
way out again, Stan.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's a good story.
So I went in there and I played with this guy who killed his wife in a meth frenzy, who had been down for 9 years, was in level 4, came all the way down to level 1 where I was at. And dude, we clicked. Like when I tell you, as soon as he started playing his stuff, dude, I just kicked in it like I'd been playing with him for years.
Oh wow.
That saved my life, because after I got to be their drummer, word got out. this kid's the baddest drummer we've ever seen on this place. We'd
Mhm.
never played with somebody like this. And like that, my bit was good. And listen, you can look me up, Matt Keegan 1 2 3 4. I got a solo from like 5 years ago, 10 years ago on YouTube. I back that up. I played drums for like 20 years. So that saved my life, you know.
Wow.
But then I got into drugs, and here's where that Suboxone story comes in. I want to tell you about the butt Suboxone story. So I'm in there, right? Things are comfortable. I'm getting a routine down. I'm getting in the gym. I'm in the weight pit. I'm starting to like find strength in myself I never even knew I had, you know. My asthma clears up, you know, my anxiety starts to clear up. I start to get more comfortable in myself, you know, and I'm in this little spot. I get moved. The guy who has all the Suboxone for the whole compound, the whole dealer. And I'm telling you, in prison, it's literally like being out in the world because there's dope fiends in there. And like when they hear somebody's on, they'll come around walking around like, hey, is he on? Yeah, you seen Shane? Shane on? What's up? So I'm in there, and this guy comes up to me, and he's like the dude of the whole compound, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to get a 5-piece? Yeah, your girl ain't called you, and you ain't talked to your girl in a week. Man, that's got to be tough." He's like, "I'll front you a 5-piece to a store. I got some. I'm cutting up right now." You know, I'm like, "Cool." You know, and then we would take the piece of sub, drop it in a chapstick cap, fill it with water, and you're ripped for the whole day because you ain't doing opiates. You know,
Mhm.
that was the most popular thing there was Suboxone because it was so cheap. He ends up sniffing it, doing his own line before he gives me some, his own little sub. And he starts gagging. I'm like, man, what's wrong, bro? What's going on? And he's like, the guy who brought these in here brought these in up his butt, and I can, and he's like,
You
I can,
smelled it?
he's like, I can taste.
Oh,
He's like, I can.
sniffing it.
He said,
Oh,
he tasted
remember,
it.
it's water. He says, I can taste the shit.
Oh wow.
And he's like, I'm gonna save you because you're my dude. I'm gonna tell you not to buy this. He's like, I'm gonna get rid of this, and we're gonna try again tomorrow.
What'd you do? Did you not buy it?
No,
Oh,
no.
Some people might have tried their
No.
hands still.
Yeah, no. I wasn't that
You won't
desperate.
want- you won't want
depends.
It depends. There could have been. If I was sick, we would have talked
You
about it.
definitely
But
trying your hand.
I wasn't sick at that time. I was just kind of flirting with it, you know. Calling my girl, be like, "Hey, baby, I need some new shoes. Can you? All right, I need you to Western Union these numbers right here, and it has to be done by this
Yeah,
time."
yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
doing the Western Union game on my girl, and she kind of figured out, stopped talking to me for a little bit because she knew what time it was, you know. So boot camp comes and get me. After all that, you know, seen a lot of fights, a lot of violent stuff, and I just somehow missed it. You know what I mean? I was just in the right spot. There is one thing I'll tell you. There's a guy, you can YouTube this. It's called the Shoestring Strangler, right? He killed a bunch of girls in the 70s and 80s. He was in there, and every time you'd walk by him, he'd be like, "Praise Jesus, praise him, praise him." That's all he would ever say, I swear. And I got to be a part of this prayer group, and this dude takes his hands that he strangled all these little girls with and puts them on me and prays. You know what I mean? And I didn't feel what I thought I would feel. You know what I mean? Like
At the time, did you know he was the shoestring?
Yes, everybody knew. We
Yeah,
all talked about it. Oh yeah, he was down. He down for 35 years.
Wow.
The reason they called him the shoestring strangler is because he made a deal with prosecution to give up the bodies for a time. You know what I mean? To do like 30 years. The
Mhm.
families are so mad, and they held this grudge. And Michigan's so corrupt. He was about to get out, and they planted some shoestrings in his locker, and they charged him with a strangulation charge, and he got down for another like 10 years.
You ever watched that show, Mayor of Kingstown?
Uh-uh.
Started
Oh, I
watching it.
started
It's
to.
too violent
I
for
started
me.
to.
That's it's based out of Michigan.
Really?
Yeah. That's
It
my
was
show.
good. It got too
It's good.
violent
It's
for
good.
me.
I'll be watching it like, man, I'm gonna be a boss one day. That's funny. That's funny. I ain't gonna be no mayor of Kingstown though. But I watched that show. It's cool.
Man, I just want to real quick to our viewers, man. Anybody out there contemplating like the street life or that's out there, caught up in the mix, man. Just listen to what Matt's saying, man. He ended up in prison, got approached by Gutter, right? And Gutter's like, look, man, you gonna pay me or I'm gonna gut you. That's what you have to look forward to if you want to keep, breaking the law, running the streets, or there's another way, right? And I'm pretty sure you're gonna get to that, man. So any of y'all out there, man, you're contemplating that, man. Just know, man, there's another way, man. There's recovery out here, man. There's places like McShin, you can reach out and get some help. In fact, tomorrow, you can come out here, y'all. Listen, anybody out there in the community listening, come out here tomorrow. It's gonna be good recovery fun. You're gonna hear Matt. Matt's gonna perform. Is you don't have a stage? Any? Is it Matt?
Matt Keegan.
Matt Keegan. Okay.
Yep, no stage name.
Matt
He's
Keegan
under
will be here
fire,
performing.
Steve.
He's going to be, spitting some good fire. And there's going to be a lot of good stuff going on tomorrow. And it's fun recovery, and you won't have to end up in that situation like what Matt's talking about, man. Because that's tough.
So
That's tough.
how did you find recovery and stay in recovery?
Well, I just before I get to that, I want to
Mhm.
I want to get on that what you just said, because this is part of my when I go to jails, when I go to prisons, and I do leads and share stories. This is what I say to these guys. When I was out there, we'd get out on the yard, start walking circles, start walking laps, and that's all you'd have to do, right? But there were certain picnic tables. Mexican picnic table, Islamic picnic table, white table, black table, and like if you wandered into the wrong table, you're getting smashed. And if you ain't getting smashed on the yard, they're just for walking into the wrong table. Like they'll maybe excuse you, but if it's a common thing and you step with the wrong color, it's a wrap. So that's what I say to these people. You know what I mean? I'm like, y'all want to be in there. If you want to live that street life, I promise you it's way easier to live that life than it is to walk the recovery life. And what I mean by that is you can either get out here. It's way harder to get up and work a 9-to-5 job for $10 an hour than it is to flip dope. You know what I'm saying? That's the easy route. It's hard to walk this road. You know what I'm saying? But the rewards for this are greater, because if you want to be that guy that's going to stand there and protect a picnic table, and just sit there and chop it up and talk politics all day while your kids are out there being raised by another man, while your family's growing up without you, you know what I mean? While you got to ask people for money all the time and you're doing cook-ups at 9 o'clock thinking that, this is life. That's not life. You know what I mean? And I say this the hard way. That's a weak mentality to carry. The street life is a weak mentality, because to come out here and get into recovery, I got to get up and hold down a job. I got to be called a drug addict. I got to be looked at weird because of my felony, and I got to keep my mouth shut,
Yeah, and you're right. But I gotta say one thing that I realized over time, like with time, so it gets so now that I've been in recovery for a while, coming up on 13 years in recovery.
Congrats, dude.
It's the hard thing for me, right? When I do something dishonest or I start thinking about stealing something out the store, or whatever, that becomes hard for me. Like now it becomes like easy, like as time, like as you progress in it, it becomes easy. So like you're right, like as in like look, running the streets and selling drugs and doing all that stuff, that's hard. I mean that's the easy way. That's the easy way out, right? But don't think, y'all listening out there, don't think, people that are like on the fence with recovery, don't think that it don't get easy once you, it becomes, it definitely.
I jumped in that wrong.
Well, no. I mean, it was a good analogy. I just, I learned over time, right? I get real scared when I start to do something dishonest now, right? When I start break a law, like not put my seatbelt on, like I get scared, like I'm fearful of it. Like it's hard for me to do that stuff.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. For sure.
I'm a law-abiding citizen.
It's so much better on this side.
Yeah.
There's peace. There's serenity here. You know what I mean? When I was talking about the hard part, I was just saying that, it's easy to just jump and fight somebody, right? How it's difficult to, you got to learn how you got to
like mental gymnastics.
Absolutely. So instead of taking off on somebody, you sit and have a conversation, and then you might even see where you're wrong, and then you got to admit it. But when you get to that space, the peace and serenity that's there, like my life is
beautiful,
it's
right?
Peaceful. It's beautiful. It's amazing, dude. This is the best. I can't even fathom, because I did this my whole life. My whole adult life, I ran around selling drugs, and I was that person with no accountability, with nothing to learn. My parents were both addicted to drugs. Nobody taught me nothing. When I came into this program, the 12-step program, I surrounded myself with men, and they mentored me for nothing. They didn't want anything from me. They literally just sowed their time into me because I was willing to take the suggestions they gave and then put in the work. If you come out here and you put in the work with these men or women that you get with, they will sow into you to change your life. I am so different. This is, my first sponsor, he walked me through the steps and gave me like an idea of what it was, right? And then I wasn't ready for it, And the second time, my other sponsor taught me how to be a better father, a better son, how to forgive my parents. That was a really big thing. He taught me, my part in everything. No, it wasn't fair what happened to me as a kid, the trauma I went through, right? But I still played a part in carrying that trauma and then using that as an excuse to be a crappy human being, So that's where all that stuff comes in. It goes so deep, but I love where it's taken me, because here I am sitting here doing something like this when just not too long ago, I would say even 4 years ago, like people didn't want me in the same house as them. People didn't want me around. Like nobody's going to set up a studio and say, hey, come through all the way to Virginia, and then trust that I'm going to come and like perform well for their show. You know what I mean? Like nobody.
When is your next date that you got, your next tour, like your next thing after this?
We're leaving September 16th. Me and Shore. Woo! We going down to New Orleans for 3 days for a little vacation. and then we're driving to West Texas to a place called Midland
So how long are you staying here?
till Sunday.
Oh man, damn! We should have got him to stay till Tuesday and did the jail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We have like a meeting for the most part. We call it a meeting, a little hope shot inside the jail here. And
Really?
it's broadcasted live. Yeah.
Wow.
Our former president and co-founder, he kind of does it.
I love going into jails.
Yeah, you'd have rocked it out.
Well,
You'd-
this is
you'd
going to
kill
go
it.
into 700.
Yeah, this
Let's
will
go.
definitely go in there, but
767.
Let's go.
but like this
I think
one's
it's the
more
exact number.
the one on Tuesday night's more of like a share, like you're just
Yeah.
up there kind of sharing.
Oh yeah, love
But
it.
anyways, it's
Love it.
too bad.
Well,
Missed that.
too late for
maybe
that.
next time.
Next time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We'll figure something out for
Yeah.
sure. So let's get to the recovery part.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Let's-
Give it to us because
let's get to
my,
the good part.
'cause,
Yeah, enough of
I
this
gotta-
jail talk. Damn.
Yep.
All
right,
I like hearing jail stories. Let me tell you,
We've
Matt,
been jailing.
I got an infatuation
Well,
with. I don't know.
go
if-
to your own podcast.
Let me
I
finish,
asked him
man.
to
You
do
gotta
this
stop. You gotta
podcast,
stop
not you.
interrupting me. You gotta let me finish my.
You talked the
thought
whole
process.
time more than him.
That is
Shit.
not true.
I don't know.
at all.
I've been
Wow.
yapping.
I've not talked at all.
Drama just listening to this.
I got an infatuation with
Jail.
with like prison YouTube channels. I don't know if you ever listening.
my
Oh yeah.
God.
So you watch Wes?
Um,
Did you watch Wes for a little bit?
Yeah. And there's a couple other guys. There's this guy Marks. He does one, but he's about the feds. He talks about the feds a lot.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good stories. And when you were talking, what it brought me to is it's just so. Man, I don't crazy is not the right word. But it's just so I guess absurd.
Extreme.
Well, it's just like when you're out here in society and like we're not so much divided by races, but when you get into prisons, especially those maximum prisons, federal prisons, it's like if you white, you can't mingle.
No.
Like with no other race.
No.
You're black, you're with black.
Yep.
And it's like people don't know that's how it is inside these prisons,
Yep.
man. It's like you got your own mop bucket, you got your own water fountain, you can't eat, you can't drink. It's absurd
Oh,
the
that's
way
right.
they do it in there.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, certain
yeah.
sakes I couldn't use.
Yeah, it's definitely absurd the way they do that in there. So when you talked about that, it just brought me to that. But yeah, I getting that recovery thing because I got a football game I got to go to.
Yes, sir.
Oh, now that you've done your talking, now he's busy and got to go do something. Sitting and traumatizing
I'm
me
enjoying
here.
this.
Shit.
There was no trauma talk except for
Anyway, the recovery piece.
Suboxone
Yes,
smelling
ma'am.
smelling like-
So,
what
what
would
does your recovery look like?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's been such a work in progress. It's taken me years to get to this point. This didn't happen overnight. 12-step program. Really curious about God. Had a lot of questions. Jesus Christ is my higher power. And it took steps. It didn't happen like all at once. I came in, like I said, with that. I've had 3 sponsors now.
Mhm.
And it's just because I've been through the steps 3 different times. I first started going to these meetings and just learning so much in there, just getting humbled, cracked in the face, really, I got to see like myself for the first time and like the things that I do that I don't like, manipulative. I'm impatient. You know what I mean? I'm definitely chasing women, when I first came in. I'm doing everything I can not to like look at myself.
Mhm.
And I finally got to sit down and do that. When I did that 4th step, 5th step, and I got everything out that I ever did. And then my sponsor had me do it with another of the sponsees in the group, 2 strangers. Best thing I ever did, because suddenly my past don't have any hold over me anymore.
He had you do what?
So I read the 5th step with him, and he had a whole sponsee group. Like he had
Damn.
like this dude was certified. He'd been doing it for 6 or 7 years, and then he had sponsees that he took through the steps that had their own sponsees that have been doing it for years.
Mhm.
It was an awesome group, and he had me pick one of them and read the 5th step to them.
That's cool.
All the horrible stuff I'd ever did that had been carrying with me, I'm taking to my grave. I'm never telling nobody. I told him I got it off my chest, and they're like, "That's it? Okay, big deal."
Mhm.
Here's mine. Here's what I did. I'm like, "Ugh, awesome. So we're all messed up. Everybody's messed up.
Mhm.
Now it's off my chest. Now I could really go to work on myself. And what I did was, I was told, and this is what I want y'all to get to, is I was told to find somebody who has something that I want. What is it that I want? I want somebody that's peaceful, that's serene, that's successful, that is in control of their emotions and can teach me how to do that and has a relationship with Christ. And I want to be around that person, because the people that you're around will leak off to you, especially if you're willing and you're hungry. You know what I mean? So that's what I started doing. Mind you, I'm just some dumb kid. Like, nobody taught me anything. Like, I ran around and did my own thing at 25 years old, like a lunatic. And I had no clue how to function as a man. So I learned how to sit with my back straight. You know, see how I would just mimic other men that had what I want. Oh, they had a certain type of shoe. I'm gonna check that out. This is how they spoke. This is the confidence that they carried. I want that. So cool. I'm gonna kick it with them.
Learn how to sit with your back straight.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I used to have this real bad hunch. I would be sitting like this. So everything. I decided to just build myself into the man that I wanted to be and have the recovery that I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? And it took a lot of work, and that's where I'm at today. And now I sponsor guys. I got like 4 sponsees. I challenge them. I challenge their beliefs. I push them to be better, you know, and then I juggle all that with the platform that I have. Like I said, from the platform earlier, it exploded, 300,000 followers. I perform this music all over the country. I got viral songs. I think we're at almost like 2.5 million streams for everything right now. I got my royalties paying my rent for the rest of the year, you know,
That's
and
awesome.
this was all stuff that was just a fantasy at one point in my life. And I'm telling you guys this, remember me saying this. This is just the tip of the iceberg for what I have coming. You know, I believe that if I stay consistent and continue doing what I'm doing and sharpening up the music and putting out songs, I believe it's going to go very, very far, you know, and I'm just really dedicated to what I do. I'll sit there and rap in front of a mirror for 2 straight hours, you know, just going over these songs over and over and over and over, just making sure I got everything perfect. I'll sit there and write forever, you know, I'm obsessed with it. I stay posting on the social media, you know, like I created a posting schedule that works and is consistent and has brought me, you know, a huge boost in like what I'm doing. And like, that's just what it is. People laughed at me for putting the social media thing together, but I seen a vision for this back in 2020. I knew where it could take me. I knew what it would eventually become. So when I'm making TikToks at 30 years old and it's not getting no views, people are laughing. Then they start going viral and then it starts to get successful. And now people ask me, how did you do it? You know, and it's crazy. This is just, go ahead.
Well, so you said putting the social media thing together. Is that what you were talking about? You started on TikTok, or how'd you start your?
Started on TikTok, just posting videos. I had some raps, and I would just rap in my '98 Toyota Camry with the radio on, and I'd set the phone up there on the window. And I had some of those videos go super viral, like 1.6 million views, shot my follower count up, got like 150,000 followers on there. Ended up working with the treatment center out of Florida. I started helping people get into treatment. You know what I mean? And that was my goal. I wanted to do what Kalichi did. That's what Kalichi does, you know? And I'm just of service 24/7, and I live it. I like everything I talk, I 100% walk, you know, and you could check me on that anytime you want.
When the TikTok stuff starts going viral, do you start getting paid by them? How does that work? No?
See, that's the funny thing. And I love giving people the behind the scenes of this because they see the follower count. I mean, I remember one time somebody said, yeah, it must be nice getting all that influencer money. For one, I have 150,000 followers on one, 120 on the other. I think with TikTok, for all time, the most I've ever taken off there was like $500-600, and Facebook will maybe pay me like 600 or 400 every month. You know.
Yeah.
So where do you get paid from? Just from like doing the performance, or is it
YouTube?
YouTube?
No. Facebook pays you on traction, likes, comments, views. There's all sorts of different ways on there. There's bonus structures.
No, I mean,
you
like
said your
now.
royalties.
Yeah.
Oh,
royalties. No. I have a distributor. They're called a Muse. All my music's uploaded through that. So you can literally find. You can
watch it on YouTube.
You could go to the Facebook library. Like you know how Facebook has its own music library. You could type in Matt Keegan, all my songs come up. Find them all on Instagram. Find them all on YouTube.
Ads at YouTube.
You can find me on Apple Music, Spotify. I have official channels on YouTube as well.
What is the name of your website that they were talking about?
Oh, the MattKeeganMusic.com.
Yeah.
So
that was another.
Oh, absolutely. This is what got us here, by the way. There's 3 admins in here that help build the battling addiction page that we have. Over 64,000 followers at this point that we all started together a year ago, that we've personally vetted every single one of these. These guys are the majority of it because I have so much going on. They've come in to help. Donna does a lot of the work. That's Mama Donna right there. She's been in recovery. She was one of the first people I seen when I came into the rooms. You know what I mean? And she was just awesome. She was just there for everybody all the time. So warm and welcoming. You know what I mean? That's what got me in and kept me in. That's why I love this stuff. You know? I just be meeting all these people all the time, and it's just crazy. You know?
I was laughing at a cricket up there. You see
that was like an hour ago.
I'm like zoning and listening to Matt. I'm just like paying attention. And he's talking about how you were getting the withdrawal meds in prison. He's like, I just didn't know how to ask for it. You know how you in your story you were talking about how you got withdrawal meds, and I was like, man, they never did that for me.
Yeah.
Our director of reentry services commented up there, and he was like, I just don't, Jesse, you just don't know how to ask for it.
Oh yeah, I was definitely asking.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm on Xanax, I'll have seizures. I'm on Xanax, I'll have
You
seizures.
let him know. Yeah. See, I was one of those ones.
Freaking out.
He's definitely right. I would have been scared. The same thing. I just lay there and just go through it. So you get the royalties. I just because is it every time somebody like watches a video where you get it, like clicks it? How does it work?
Every time anybody listens to my music on Spotify, I got over 22,000 monthly listeners. I got songs.
So then that'll help get you paid.
Oh yeah.
I just want to figure out how to help get you paid.
Listen, listen to stream the music. Stream the music, man.
Stream it.
It keeps going up every month. I mean, I remember one time I got like a $200, and then it was like $400, and then it was like $8, and now it's $15, and it's like it's growing. The whole thing's growing. The whole
we will definitely
growing.
share that for you, man. We'll
I
share
appreciate
that on
that.
there. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I got a whole bunch of new songs in the works. I got some stuff that's gonna ruffle some feathers. I like to balance on that line of like, okay, so
How many feathers you ruffling tomorrow?
you already gave me the set list to do.
Well, I love the songs that I gave you.
I
listened to every single one on my walk. I was like, I'm writing them down. Well,
I listened to one song and I texted. Remember when I texted you? I was like, man, he don't like these.
well, we're gonna have like
hold on.
providers.
Who?
I don't want to say.
Not
She can't
subtoxin, right?
I
Not
like that
subtoxin.
one.
Well, anywho, the one.
I like those people.
Yeah,
It's the people that created it.
That's what I
Correct.
said. That's what I said.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like those people.
Yeah.
Absolutely
no,
not.
the ones that I picked, I love.
I have.
So,
Yeah, I'll when
But
we're
do
done,
whatever. But I mean,
I already have a rehearsed
Okay.
set list.
You're
That's
in front of the mirror
everything
for 2 hours
100
already.
all the time, every day.
Okay.
She does that herself too.
Great.
I know.
That's how you get good.
I barely look in the mirror. I just go. I do have positive quotes that I read every
That's how we
morning.
do
on
it.
You wake up and read those quotes.
I do.
There you go.
They're
There you
pink
go.
post-its. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I wake up and tell myself I'm gonna be famous.
yeah.
You well,
Crazy.
you got
Well,
any
you are.
part? You got any parting words for us before we wrap it up here?
Find God and recovery. Go out there and pursue that the same way you pursued what you did in the streets. The things that you can find here, I'm telling you, I've been where you're at. I did what you did for years and years and years. We just went through a tip of it. I could tell you a lot more, but we don't need to. I'm here right now, and I'm telling you, I am living proof. If you come in and you work a program, you get connected to Jesus Christ, and you work this thing, and you do it, And listen, you don't got to come find the same God I did. Just get in the door and figure it out. AA is not the 12-step program is not a religious program. It's spiritual. So you can find whatever you need to get in the door. Doesn't matter. Just come in here and put in the work. Give it a chance and work hard, And if you do, we was all lost at one point. You know what I mean? And now look what's happening. So if this can happen for us, it can happen for anybody.
Yeah.
What about you, boss
Awesome.
lady?
Don't call me that.
Boss.
I'm a boss.
Rick Wells.
Just for me, I just want to thank you for coming. I'm glad this is such a great idea. Thank you. Honestly,
Good job.
for having you on the podcast and
Directly after a 9-hour drive.
That's all right. You
Crushed
crushed it.
Yes,
Crushed
I am.
it.
I'm feeling pretty good about
Crushed
myself right now.
Red
Thank
Bull's
you,
woke
Red
you
Bull.
up.
Oh, absolutely.
We would like sponsor.
Yeah,
Red
I was
Bull
getting ready to say
Red
free
Bull.
sponsorship, Red Bull.
Yeah.
So we're giving you free
Sponsorship.
love here.
Yep. Sponsorship
I don't
stipulation.
like the Red. I haven't had a Red Bull since I've been in recovery. I used to jam Red Bull and Jaeger,
They jack
and like
me
the
up.
smell of it
I
reminds
got over
me of
that.
Jaeger.
Yep.
But anyway,
It's 2006
recovery
right there.
rocks, and yes, and just hold on because your recovery for an old timer, it gets way better, so much better with the
Let's
years.
go. Awesome.
Like it's just, I never think about using drugs or alcohol
Beautiful.
ever, like literally ever. It's like I lived two completely different lives. So recovery is radical. So that's it. Recovery rocks. Happy Recovery Month. Thank you for driving all the way down here and for Jody hooking us up. So I'm so excited for tomorrow. It's our favorite event.
Let's
It's
go.
humongous. What do you got, Jailbird?
You wear Brooks. I didn't know that. You wear
Yeah,
Brooks
these
shoes.
are my running
Hey,
shoes.
let's go.
You got Brooks too. man.
These are my driving
These
shoes.
are the
y'all
best.
are whack. Both of y'all are whack.
They're so
First off-
comfortable. Put a pair on.
First off, no
Put
one
a
said
pair
What you
whack.
got on over there, my man? What is your? What are
It's-
those? I have never seen.
What are those? Wrap it up. You gotta go somewhere.
Them-
You
them-
said-
them- the comfy driving
those are the com-
shoes.
you gotta have those.
We
You
got
gotta
the
have those.
driving.
Man,
Listen,
we just
put
had
on a
a-
pair of Brooks and come talk to me.
These
I don't
are-
have-
telling you.
There's a lot of staff members that love them.
I literally
I-
get the
I
exact
don't.
same pair but different color because I run. So
Yeah,
I
so do
have
I.
to have these. Really?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
you want to run tomorrow?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
I'll run.
I'm in.
Let's
I
go.
got to do my ice bath.
We used to have a
before.
run club.
Where do you have an ice bath?
At my house. My husband built me one for
Oh
Christmas.
my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Could I?
Yeah.
Can I?
Oh, if you
I-
want to.
I
yeah.
ice bath.
Okay. Well,
is
Oh,
why
we
did
love
you
it
never-
around here.
It's
Yeah.
our
sick.
thing,
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I have it. He built it. He painted it white and pink.
I was about to buy one
yeah.
and just pay payments for 5 years.
Just I'm saying get a deep
He
freezer.
got one. Oh yeah, he's
Turn
got
a
deep freezer now.
into it.
Yeah. I was
You ain't
looking at
gotta
that
get
too.
no ice. Just plug it in. Yeah,
Yep.
it's awesome. But look, thanks for
What are
coming
your
out, Matt.
words?
I don't have no part in
We
words. Just want
gotta
to say thank
go.
you, Matt, for coming out, and everybody out there, tune in tomorrow. You get to hear Matt Keegan perform.
Mhm.
Come check him out, and there's a lot of other stuff going on tomorrow. Flash that back, Steve.
You
Flash
got
that
the
back.
old
Yep,
flyer,
there we go.
Steve. I sent the new one out.
That's all right, man. September 7th. That's tomorrow, everybody. 2300 Dumbarton Road from 12 to probably around 5 o'clock. Hopefully,
Usually like 4.
yeah, 4 something like that. We'll have some food trucks out there. We're gonna have some
rains at 4.
tattoo artists.
No, henna tattoos, not real tattoos. Henna
And
tattoos.
we're gonna have a balloon guy. We're gonna have face paint. We're gonna have some
Vendors,
music, some other music. It's gonna be good. Some
food,
speakers.
ice cream truck.
Yep. It's gonna be awesome, man.
And
Come
us.
check it out. Come check
Hello,
it
we're
out.
the best.
That's right.
Well,
And
I am.
Honesty's gonna say a few words up there.
Something. Yeah,
Yep.
welcome to Recovery Month. Bye.
But anyways, thanks, Matt. Thanks for I
thank you
enjoyed it,
so
man.
much. You
Yep.
rock.
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
man.
That was
Thanks
Thank
for having
everybody
me.
awesome.
for tuning in.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Let's go.